How do you make it fuzzy in the background?
Always afraid I'm going to make something wrong. So if you click under stop video, there's like a little arrow, and in that it says blur my background.
Huh. Oh, cool.
And then you can choose virtual background.
Oh, I did that in the beginning, but it would crash my computer. So I stopped doing it because I already tend to crash. Oh no, I froze. Oh, it just froze while it blurred my background. Okay. I don't know. The thing is, my hair blends in now. Hi, Rita. Oh, there's Erin. Hi, Erin.
Another interested customer.
Oh, you're muted, Rita.
I was going to say she loves contracts.
Oh, yeah.
It's a particular favorite of hers.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely your grandchild.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're just waiting for
Melissa
to join us. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody ready for the next round of snow?
The next blow. I have 3 PFAS appointments tomorrow at between 10 and 11. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. Is that the last? Are those the last 3?
Well, there's, except for the guy who's working in Boston, he might be there tomorrow. So, and that if he shows up, that would be the last of the
just
4.
get on your skis. They must be fairly close to you, right? Oh, Becky, you froze. Oh, goodness. Is everybody else with us here?
Mary Ann's really taking precautions. She's wearing a mask. Make sure that we don't get infected or whatever.
Let me just tell Becky.
You never know what you people might be infecting me with.
I know.
Through
Yeah,
the internet. So
I can't blame.
Hi, you're frozen.
Yeah, and Geneva reported everybody froze.
Oh, everybody froze? Geneva? You're muted.
not frozen. Melissa's not. So look at there's Melissa's beautiful smile. She's not frozen.
I'm not frozen, no.
No. Okay.
Melissa's in the sun, so
Okay,
she's at the beach.
I am. Well, now I'm next to the river, next to a sewer pump station.
Oh, well, sort of like the beach.
That sounds nice.
Always the most beautiful destinations.
You know, it's on the bucket list. You should, schedule a visit.
We want a tour. Melissa, we want a private tour, select board tour.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order, and Becky should be back in a minute. So I'm calling meeting of the Shutesbury Selectboard to order. Today is Friday, March 3rd, and this is a special meeting, and we only have one item on the agenda for today, and that is the approval of the designer contract for the new library. And I know Becky sent it out to everybody. We previously had this on a select board agenda a few weeks back, and there are a few outstanding items. So not just a couple of important things have changed on this contract. And I believe those were all highlighted in red, Becky, in the edited version that you gave us. At least when I pulled it up on my screen, it was edited and highlighted there. So I don't know if Mary Ann or Becky just want to give us the kind of broad, the big highlights. I mean, this is a contract that's been reviewed by the Library Building Committee, by our town council. So it's been by Becky, by Mary Ann. It's had lots of eyes on it. And I thought if there's anything in particular that you want to highlight before the select board votes, that would be helpful.
Marianne, did you want to go first?
No, I wasn't expecting.
Okay, I'm happy to go first.
Okay.
Or first and second. So, so this contract outlines all of the responsibility of the designer over the next potential 2 years till the completion of the building. Well, it's not a full 2 years. Yes, it is. So the design will go through the fall, and then we hope to begin construction after completing, after going out to bid for the construction contract. And then the designers are instrumental in helping us achieve their design from the contract and working with the contractors. So all the different phases of development are in the contract. We're going to be just starting with schematic design. That's the phase they are currently in. Then it'll move to design development, and then they will prepare all the construction documents. A number of the changes that the last round of changes were on the schematic design phase. We will be using the schematic design estimate as the base for this project moving forward. And that was some of the legal changes that were made by Donna McNichol and Catherine Redden over in O&E's attorney, Odenzella's attorney. They worked through that passage to come to agreement that we all are in agreement that we will use that estimate as the basis moving forward. Then we'll move into the designer services during construction, and they are instrumental in any kind of changes that might occur to the contract. And they would only be done after authorization from the Shutesbury Library Building Committee. At this point, the committee has been meeting regularly, and Marianne, you could add or subtract from that, but they have been meeting regularly with the OPM and started meeting with the designer this month. I'm sorry, in February. We have resolved all ownership issues of the design. That's also always tricky with architects. And Donna's always very demanding that the town would, in the end, own the designs of the new library building plan. I guess the last highlights are on the amount of the project. And this was an issue we went back and forth on, or the building committee did, because it was discovered that the solar was not in the original Fennessy design estimate. That was the number we took to town meeting. So we had to review that and add that into the designing portion of the design contract and clarify that, as well as the addition of the porch. So we had these two increases to the overall project, and we made sure to get those also into the design contract. So this was a lengthy process because although being a simple project, it has a lot of pieces, and we needed to be sure that everyone was in agreement. So we're looking at the final signature page. It's at the back. I apologize. The dollar amount is in the beginning. Did any select board members have questions about the contract? The overall fixed fee for the contract is identified in Article 2 on page 4. So the overall contract is $806,848. for the fixed fee amount, and then they add a 5% for estimated reimbursable expenses, which would be copies, printing, travel, and things of that nature. And that amount is $40,342. And that amount would be adjusted based on where the final costs come in. Say if at some point an element was removed, that fee would be reduced. Any questions?
I guess one question, well, a couple of questions I have is, so if the project, and I'm just for clarification, if the project increases, like you mentioned the porch, the solar, whatever, do we have money set aside for that? Or are we building something that's more expensive than we've passed the money for?
If we were to add things, we would have to add funding. And
so those things are considered add-ons?
No, the solar and the solar, correct. So the solar currently, it was not in the Fennessy contract. So if those things are added on to the project, we will go out to get an estimate on those in the schematic design. And then we'll figure out if there are additional costs. We'll go back to Mary Ann.
So to add into that, when those things are done from the perspective of what I do now, those are done through change orders, and all of them have to have drawings. Sorry, the train's going by. Hold on. All those would have drawings and everything that was related, and it would all be done through change orders and contract change orders. And the owner would have to sign off on that, owner being the town of Shutesbury.
Yeah, if we added things that weren't the porch or the solar, like if we were
right, or if there's any increase in pricing too, the change orders would also have to be signed.
Yeah,
Mary Ann.
If there's escalations or anything.
Thanks, Melissa.
Yeah. So right. So right now we're in schematic design. The architects who are more skilled at reading cost estimates than we did notice those two things were missing from the cost estimate, and they asked how we wanted to proceed. And we thought that solar energy to power the building was an important element, and that the outdoor covered porch was an important design element that we wanted to keep. At the end of schematic design, if we discover that we really can't afford the outdoor covered porch, we could leave it off. And
same with the solar.
Yeah, and we could design the building solar ready, and then fundraise for the solar panels after the fact, right? So and then the other thing is it has taken longer to get to this point, and the cost estimate was escalated out to June 2024, and construction is going to take until the spring of 2025. So they suspect that further escalations will be added to the cost estimate after schematic design. So escalations, solar panels, a covered porch that's attached to the building are all eligible costs. And we have a unique, one-of-a-kind, one-time grant that pays 75% of the actual eligible costs. So 75% of these things will be covered by the MBLC. The grant amount will go up to cover those things, and the town will be responsible for 25%. And at the end of schematic design, we'll do a cost estimate, which should be more comprehensive. It'll be based on a schematic design instead of on a building program. And then we'll make decisions. We're going to be efficient and frugal as we create this schematic design. So already, the architects have mentioned that they think it would be nice if the building had a bigger lobby, and we said it's not going to have a bigger lobby. We had specified a 200-foot outdoor storage shed, and because these outdoor spaces would have to be attached to the building, they have to have fire protection, and it's more expensive, and we've decided that we can probably do without the storage shed at $400 a square foot. And we can build it ourselves later for less than, that would be $80,000, our portion of which is $20,000. And we think we can do a shed for less than that on our own at a later time. So the Friends of the Library keep fundraising. We're looking for grant opportunities, and we do think that there are grant opportunities that will certainly help us pay for solar. And then there are other grant opportunities, and we're feeling positive going forward.
Marianne, can I ask a quick question? Because you mentioned the escalation. Did they mention anything about if prices de-escalate? Or are we honed in on the price that we're signing?
Well, so we won't have a price. So we'll have cost estimates, and then we won't have a price until we actually go out to bid. We'll have a cost estimate at schematic, at construction documents, and then design development. I think that's the order. Or maybe those two are switched. Maybe it's DD.
The key issue right now, Melissa, is this is the designer contract.
No, I know. I just sometimes when they talk about escalation, they only talk about prices increasing, and it's important to make sure documents going forward also has something about de-escalation if prices go down. Just something to keep in mind.
Okay.
At any point during contract stuff, even at this point and going forward.
Their escalation rate changed from about 17% down to like 5 or 6%. Before
that's
like 25.
That I understand. Just it's more of a comment going forward that to make sure we get credits if prices go down.
Yep.
I just had
part of the construction contract.
So the language within the designer services that was, I know a lot of time was spent on that. That was really about working with the designer to do value engineering. So taking things, saying, do we need this? Can we do without that, to kind of keep costs in line? Is that accurate? Okay. I mean, it sounds like that's a big part of what the building committee is going to be working with the designer on, is saying we don't have a blank check here. We have to work within a budget, and therefore we might have to give something up, like you're saying. We're not going to have a bigger lobby, or we're not going to have that storage building, whatever. So.
Yeah, we're certainly not adding anything, and the cost estimate was, it was based on 5,400 square feet and 1,200, and that's off the top of my head. So it might be 1,100, it might be 1,300, but right around there, of that was for unassigned space. So, and some of that is the janitor's closet and the technology room and the mechanical room. And some of it is stairwells and hallways and walls and things like that. And this is going to be a building on a slab. And so I've already mentioned to the architects, and they agree that we can probably be really efficient with that unassigned space. And we may not be building a 5,400 square foot building. We might be building a 5,000 square foot building, and that would save us, 400 times 800, $320,000, right? So, so we're aware we are going to be, and our goal is to build a library. It doesn't have to be, I think we are going to be, we're going to be so proud of this library and so thrilled to have it. And we're going to try and design a library that we can build based on that schematic design thing. And also be ambitious with fundraising and sourcing of grants and things like that. So the other thing is that the site cost may end up being more than we might have imagined, because there are more wetlands on the site. And so the library is going to have to be further back than we might have thought it was going to be. And that, that means more paving. And paving is not an eligible cost. The subsurface site work is eligible, but the final paving is not. And so that will be all on the town. And that's not, good or bad. It just is. The wetlands are the wetlands, and we have to work around them. So, but our architects are, the most skilled in working under those conditions, and they're being very thoughtful about it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Other questions about the contract?
I have two very quick questions. Question number one is, are these costs of $806,000 and $42,000 round numbers? Is that what was anticipated? I'm just curious if that's came in at the level that we thought it would come in at.
It's certainly within the percentage of the current percentage of designer fees for projects. It's higher than we wanted it to be. It started out much higher than that. And Becky and the building committee and I kept, we really did get it. I think it was 1.1 million, wasn't it, Becky? And
a little more than that. Yeah.
A little more than that. So we did get it down. The architects came down quite a bit in their own fee. There were some services that we decided we didn't have. They went back to their subcontractors, and their subcontractors all sharpened their pencils. And so it's a higher percentage of fee. It's in some ways, and this happened with the OPM too, they have to sort of have the same amount of staff assigned to a project, whether it's a 5,000 square foot building or a 10,000 square foot building. So this economy of scale thing makes our designer fees higher. The good news is it's an eligible cost that the MBLC pays 75% of. So, and then we didn't know if going to a different designer would save us any money. And then we thought, well, if it saved $100,000 off the total contract, that's only $25,000 for the town. So it seemed like it made more sense, especially with the flexibility that they showed in the negotiation, to go with the designer that we knew had a lot of experience with net zero energy construction and with wetland, construction of libraries in the proximity of wetlands.
Thanks. The second question I have, and this will be my last question, is if changes are made to the design, who pays that? And I'm referencing, and I'm not quite sure where this fits in the process here, but I know like last time we built the library, the architects came back with this design that had like really pitched roofs and valleys and stuff, and everyone's going, wait a minute, we can't do that. Well, if let's say that happens again, or something like that happens again, who pays for that, or how do we prevent that from happening? Or
well, so we're in the design phase now. We're in the schematic design phase now. The library building committee meets every other Tuesday, and we're in the very beginning of the design phase now. In a few weeks or 6 weeks or so, we'll have a public forum, and we'll invite the public in to look at the direction the committee is headed in and see what the feedback is. you know, so we're in schematic design now, and now is when we sort of come up with that direction that we want to head in. So, so you could, and once we get a little bit of stuff under our belt and we've found a direction that we want to head in, we'll post some pictures online, and then we'll have a public forum and invite people to come specifically to give feedback.
Great.
But the public can come to building committee meetings anytime.
Okay, thanks. Great.
Marianne. Melissa, any other questions?
No, I'm good.
All right. If there are no other questions, I would like to see if there is a motion to approve the, I didn't print out the front page. It's the contract with Odin Zello. Is that correct? Okay.
Contract for designer services.
Contract for designer services with Odin Zello.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Carol, aye. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Marianne, for joining us today, and have a good weekend. Everybody get your snow shovels ready.
If Becky turns off the recording, I'll turn this so you can see the building that I'm standing in front of.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
To look. Okay.
Yeah.
Becky, turn off the recording.
Wait, motion to adjourn first.
Oh,
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Makepeace O'Neill, aye.
Stalker, aye.
Carol, aye. Okay.